Welcome to another episode of Living in Recovery today. And this is something I've been thinking a lot lately. And maybe it has something to do with faith. Maybe it's just a way for me to get perspective. For me, it's the corner of the Oriental rug. And I like this idea of chaos being a confusing moment until you really pull back. And the scene, the metaphor I have for that is if an ant is crawling around in one corner in the fibers of a very ornamental or patterned rug, it would see nothing but chaos and be like, what kind of psycho did this random, this thing is a complete and total mess, this makes no sense. And then as the ant might crawl up the wall and then wind up on the ceiling and look down and say, whoa, there's a pattern, and there's four of them and they're connected all together with another pattern. That idea is something I'm trying to implement in my life, to first identify patterns in my life. And I don't know if I go as far as to say this is CBT. I've never done it. I've never been in a group for that. I've never tried that with a therapist or anything. But I do like on paper, very high level, the idea of it. For me, it's been this long, slow, arduous task to just get to a place where I could see there might be a pattern in something. I could see how I might respond to something. And I want to pull back and see, is there a pattern there? And is the pattern repeated? And what are the things I notice that put me in that situation? And usually it's just me putting myself in the situation. And there's a number of things that are going on in my life where I see potential patterns developing. And it gives me the motivation, the idea that it might be best if I pull back a little bit from the situation, just to kind of get a perspective on it. And the perspective isn't the thing alone. I love this Stoic saying, and this also is in 12-step programs as well as many other things. It's not the thing, the person, or the situation that is the problem or is the thing upsetting me. It's my assessment of it. And there's this thinking, again, a Stoic philosophy, oh, there it is, that says a judgment is simply seeing something for what it is. I might see a situation, I might see someone run through a red light. So what happened? I saw somebody run through a red light. Nobody got hurt. Then there's the opinion stage that can absolutely be jumped over. And I might have opinions, but that person just broke the law. They're an idiot. They could have killed somebody, all these things. But then there's this rationale stage after that is, I've done that. That's happened to me. I've seen that happen, and I've been the one getting in a car accident. I've done that myself just because my head was in the clouds and I ran a stop sign or something, and I came down on myself pretty hard because I want to be more attentive when I'm driving a car. And for me, it's a more constructive thing to identify with a person, an event, and fold that in. It's not my job. Maybe the person who ran the red light has his wife in the car and her water just broke and it's his first kid, or it's a priest racing to get to read somebody their last rites. I've learned to be smart enough to know I may never know. And it's like I'm walking on a sheet of rice paper on dirt. And my goal is to walk across the rice paper and not leave a mark. I love when somebody says, leave leave a room in better condition than you found it. And that's how I'm trying to live my life and look for these patterns and look for these habits to which I formed a habit. When I get up in the morning, I I read a couple things that are again related to a 12-step program, and then I read a couple things that are related to a philosophy, and then I started doing this, listen to a meditation, and my brain at times, it's in my head like flipping on the light switch and saying all the cockroaches run to the corner of to the room and scatter. And I'm trying to bring my focus through breaths, through concentration, through a want to just get better at focusing and bring my focus back to what is the thing that the meditation is talking about. Um, what is its purpose, and really try to get locked back in. And then, of course, I might wander again. And rather than beating myself up, I'm just trying to come back to normal and realizing this is not an abnormal thing. It may not be desired, but I'm working with what I got. And I first, when I was came off drugs and alcohol, literally, it was like the first thing I heard from a person. They put their arms around me and said, "We're going to love you until you learn to love yourself." And it's taken a while for me to get to a place where I learned to love myself. And now I'm able to be comfortable in my skin. Crap, I'm the guy now that runs across a room to tell somebody that. It's ridiculous. Um, but I don't beat myself up as much as I used to. I don't think I'm stupid. I don't call myself stupid. Um, and that makes it a lot easier for me to not only accept me, but to now do work on me. And the one area where I'm focusing is looking for habits, things that I do over and over again, because I'm in recovery. So I have I have a different way of looking at insanity. Regular people, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different outcome. Mine is doing things over and over again, knowing exactly what's going to happen and just doing it anyway. And trying to break that may be more, as much of a challenge, and trying to break that habit to be slower, be more purposeful, take more risks. Thing for me is, I'm a pro at procrastinating, and it's it doesn't work for me, and it slows me down. It slows down work. It slows down my output, so my influx of cash is slowed. It's not a good thing. It's not a good look for me. And one of the things I'm doing is looking for patterns. And one of the patterns is I might do something else. I might do a different task for work that is far easier, one that has a high unlikelihood that I'll screw it up. So, in turn, what I'll do is shy away from the risk thing that most of the time I don't screw it up. It's my perception of the thing. And when I just dive in and start doing it and realize I'm worried about messing up a piece of wood that I'm milling. I'm a woodworker again, and that costing me money where I don't even know if I'll be here tomorrow. And tomorrow has usually come. It's come for quite a few decades, but there's no guarantees. And I need to be a better risk taker. To just the regular person's eye, they would look at it, and I have a friend that says, "Come on, man, get to it, do it, and you're done." And when I take that attitude, I don't worry about risk. And in what I'm doing, sure, I could lose a finger if I'm not paying attention, but at the end of the day, if I blow up a piece of wood, then I just go buy another one, or I pull another one from my stock and just keep going and realize everybody makes a mistake. For me, making a mistake doesn't have to be as big a deal. And that's part of this Oriental rug chaos idea, that I realize that pattern, and it's become so ingrained in me that I don't try and break the right pattern. I'm developing a new pattern to soothe myself of my fear of the future, because I have to do that eventually. But fear is a misuse of my imagination, and all I can ever imagine is I'm going to screw it up. I'm going to screw it up, and sure, I totally do. I measure 3 times and I get it wrong twice. Again, cockroaches in my head with the light switch being flipped, and they just run all over the place, and that happens. And I have to recognize that failure is a lot of what got me here today as a better version of me. And I always lived in fear. And that's the thing. I'm trying to get out of the chaos and identify my patterns so that I can change the habit. I'm not a CBT guy, cognitive behavioral therapy. That's not my thing. I don't know about it. I like the idea of it, I like the concept of it, but that's not my practice. So this is just something I wanted to share. I don't get it right a lot of the time, but now I at least know what I'm aiming at, and I know why, and I know the hows of it, and I'm getting more comfortable with CEOs who are wildly famous. It is said, fail fast and fail often. And I like that idea. I don't want to fail too much. I mean, some of the wood I work with, one board can be $350, $500. So I don't want to screw up all the time. But there are things I can do to mitigate that. But again, that the initial fear, the initial thought that I'm going to screw it up and it's going to cost money prevents me from doing it. And a lot of times I just go and do it and I just pay attention and everything works out just fine. And I'm trying to focus on that on the other side and realize I'm nervous about milling a piece of wood when I don't even know if I'll be here tomorrow. And when I do that, it right sizes the issue. And I have to start changing my behavior and the pattern looking more like it's more painful to procrastinate than go and do the thing. And I look for people to inspire me, who I want to emulate, role models. And that can be my wife and my younger brother. They are animals when it comes to their task list. It is so painful for them to not slay their task list. And I'm using them more often. And I know what role model I don't want is somebody that procrastinates. I know the role model I do want, and it's somebody who's really focused and really productive. And they pick up speed as they go through and they get better at it, better at it. And if they screw something up, they just keep going and they don't stop because it's too painful to not do this stuff. And that's something I want to add to my portfolio of behaviors. So hopefully this helped. I know it's helping me right now, and I'm getting better, but I'm slow. My recovery has been slow, and will probably continue to be. But I have a lot of days to keep working on it, at least till the end of today, possibly. So stay tuned. Next video. Don't know what it will be about, but I'm sure I'll come up with something. I live creatively. So thanks.